This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the Crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Another Saturday morning with the W Show, talking sports and pop culture. You're listening to the W Show on 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio. We are live here at the Negro League Baseball Museum. Historic 18th and Vine is where we are. It's free for Black History Month up until, I believe, on Monday. So you still have some time to come down, hang out with us to the museum for free. How's everyone this morning?
Good. We're up. Well. Good to see everybody live, whole, and well.
Yeah, man. It's fun. We've seen a lot of people come through here. They're expecting upwards of 1,000 people to come through the museum today. So it should be pretty fun to see some of these people come through the doors. And also there's a meet and greet with the former Royal great John Mayberry. He'll be coming down to sign autographs between 1 and 3 p.m. today at the museum. So that should be cool.
Yeah, should be cool.
You probably remember his son. He went to Rockhurst, ended up playing for the Seattle Mariners. He was around our age, played out at 3-2 with us as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Last name Mayberry. Of course, his first name kind of draws a blank now, but I think he's coming down as well. So
we probably watched the teams he was on.
Probably did. Probably did. How was everyone's week?
Good. It went by fast.
Did it?
It just seems like we were just here last week.
I mean, we were
7 days.
Half the week.
Oh, that too, man. Mother Nature, I'm tired of you. Get it together. What do you want from us? Like, you just got us, spinning out here. Like, one day it'll be 70 degrees and then the next snow.
Yeah, man. But it's supposed to be 60.
It's a heat wave.
Says the Texan.
Yeah, I'll take it however I can get it.
All right, we got a lot coming up on today's show. A lot to get into. The Chiefs, they've brought back Eric Bieniemy for about a year, 1 year deal. You guys surprised about that? No, not surprised. Okay. All right. Team LeBron beats Team Durant 163-160 in last week's NBA All-Star game. We'll definitely give our thoughts about that. I know Q's excited to talk about LeBron today, but we'll get into that a little bit later. And some students have been tossed from Kansas high school basketball game for chanting airball. Y'all believe that?
You know what? I can in this day and age of, soft sports.
SOFT, soft. All right, the Steelers hired former Dolphins head coach Brian Flores as senior defensive assistant linebackers coach. And coming up in about 30 minutes, we will have our Sneakers of the Week during our Hater to Love It segment. Let's get to today's headlines.
Here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the Crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Now, offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy returning to Chiefs on 1 year deal. I know Noah was trying to get your opinion on this earlier, Steve, but you were waiting to drop the knowledge on us. What are your thoughts?
It's interesting. Like I said earlier this week, it's funny how that article about Eric Bieniemy and Patrick Mahomes, the issues that they have, came out last week. I don't know if it was planned that way or if it was something, somebody had just, whether they talked to people in the NFL or anything like that. We know that it was false. Like a lot of the accusations in the article I can attest. I know was false, but now that they brought him back, I think the Chiefs' hands were tied. A lot of people you saw on social media were like, "Oh, well, I think Eric Bieniemy they're going to part ways. They're going. Why would he come back to a negative situation?" Because of that article that came out and said that Eric Bieniemy had issues with Patrick Mahomes, or Patrick Mahomes was, they argued in the AFC Championship game. They'd been arguing back and forth all year. They didn't like each other. Well, if Patrick Mahomes had an issue with Eric Bieniemy, do you guys feel like he would have been brought back?
No, he would have been gone.
Yeah, he would have been gone. So the fact that they brought him back, I still believe that the Chiefs' hands were tied. We see when we talk about the Brian Flores situation, that's kind of lingering over their head. You have the article. Had they gotten rid of Eric Bieniemy or even demoted him to another coaching position, there would have been hell to pay. I can say that. I think within that Chiefs organization, of course, Andy Reid, he's one of the guys that is he brings his people. He takes care of his people, and I think Eric Bieniemy is one of his people, and he's definitely taking care of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean they really had no choice. I mean, what's the better option, Matt Nagy?
I mean,
that's a no. That's
you look at social media though, Q, and it's just like, I know social media is not everything, but the Twitter people with the Twitter fingers are like, oh well, Matt Nagy's a much better coach than Eric Bieniemy. Yeah, he's much better to Patrick Mahomes than Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, okay.
Lord Jesus.
Yeah, he hasn't won a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Win a ring first.
I don't see Matt Nagy just struggled his past 2 years with the Bears. I mean, he's right where he needs to be. Make him a quarterback's coach. Eric Bieniemy has seen success.
I was just gonna say it was a joke. He got a job anyway.
Oh, I mean, when you're at the top level, I mean, he was a head coach, so I would imagine that he didn't all the way fall out of the the coaching coaching in the NFL. But I mean, as far as him being a head coach and even a coordinator, I mean, I see Eric Bieniemy as the only choice that could, foster this Chiefs offense. I mean, he's had, what is this? This is 6th year with the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
He's familiar with the offense. It's the only offensive coordinator that Patrick Mahomes is known. I don't feel like we need to change that unless it's something drastic. And I feel like that article was something drastic to try to, muddy his name so he wasn't the coordinator anymore. But, it is what it is. I'm actually happy that he's back because it's for Patrick's sake. Anything to help him. And
a lot of folks Eric Bieniemy has interviewed for 13, 14 jobs in the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
For head coaching jobs, and he hasn't gotten a job. And a lot of people are like, well, is it because we don't know if he's calling the plays? Is it because we don't know how much of the offense he actually is controlling? Well, Andy Reid's come out and said numerous times that, hey, whether we believe it or not, he's come out and said that, it's Eric Bieniemy. He has full trust in EB. Mm-hmm. So he's kind of caught in a hard situation because, look, let's just say next year, Andy Reid said, all right, this is what it is. Eric Bieniemy is calling the plays. That's what it is. And you always see the camera focused on Eric Bieniemy, right? Mm-hmm. And the Chiefs come out and lose 5 straight.
Then it's going to be on him.
It's going to be on Eric Bieniemy. But they come out and win 5 straight. And it's like, oh, it's Andy Reid. Yeah. Yes. So I think this situation that he's caught up in KC is just one of those was like, man, you're damned if you stay, damned if you don't.
Yeah, and I mean that was the success of the 2019 season.
Mm-hmm.
The success of them almost coming out of nowhere, and really being as dominant as they were for that season and the next season until they met Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
I wasn't.
Duke Palmer's joining us on the show, and he said Chiefs know Bieniemy is gone after next year, so Nagy was brought back to succeed. Bieniemy once he leaves. I mean, we hope he's gone. We hope he's in a better situation as far as with the head coaching job.
I mean, if I'm a Chiefs fan, I would want him to stick around for when Andy retires.
When would that be, though?
I mean, who knows?
Exactly.
Who knows when that will be? But
Andy
I mean,
close to 70, isn't he? I mean, pretty
64-ish. Yeah,
one of those.
Yeah. I mean, we had a scare earlier this season.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, Eric Bieniemy doesn't like the way that it falls. It's Dave Tobe. Dave Tobe is the head assistant coach and also offensive coordinator. So Dave Tobe came out and talked post game. It wasn't Eric Bieniemy. So, but the offensive coordinator, the way it ranks is like the offensive coordinator is higher than the assistant head coach, which doesn't quite make sense.
It doesn't,
but I feel like Eric Bieniemy should come out and talk. If you want him to get a head coaching gig after he leaves you,
showcase
you send him out.
Showcase him.
That's it. Yeah,
that's
there
all
you
you
go.
have to do, and they haven't done that. I mean, by and large, Chiefs fans really don't know much about him. Like, other than what's reported on him, he doesn't get a chance to come out and talk that often. So I feel like you said, the Chiefs should come out and showcase him and show that he is capable of handling the responsibilities to be a head coach. I think so.
And let me ask y'all this: say you're in these shoes, and Jazz, I'm gonna ask you first. If you get an article that comes out and says, "Hey, you're having issues with your star player, y'all don't like each other," then there's so many other accusations. Do you come out and get ahead of it and say, "All right, this is what it is," or do you just sit back like EB is doing?
I think in the position that he's in and knowing that he's already riding a fine line, I don't think that I would feed into anything. I would think I would stay where I'm at. The people that know.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would stir the pot any more than it needs to be, knowing that I'm fighting for a head coaching position. I have all these other opportunities. That's probably low on my totem pole, is trying to defend myself when the people who know, and like even in the accusations in the story that don't seem quite right, okay, I'm not even going to feed into it.
Okay.
Or draw more attention to it.
Q.
I'm sitting back.
You sitting back chilling? All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I might put out some cryptic tweets.
Even don't have
stir the pot. You just want to stir the pot, don't you?
Yeah, that's all it is.
Is it gonna be from your account or from a burner? You gonna do the KD?
No, it would be from my account, and then everything. It would be like I would roast Patrick all day.
Really though, seriously.
No, that's the role you're taking.
I ain't gonna lie to you. It's a way to like foster that.
Like every disparaging tweet about Patrick, I'm liking them all.
I'm gonna retweet them. I'm gonna get on his head on social media. I'm gonna get some laughs in just because I know our relationship. I feel like they have a pretty decent relationship. Maybe not so far as to joke on each other on social media, but I think they have a good enough relationship. So I think this article, again, we said it last week, just stupid. I hope it was worth it. Whoever wrote it, I hope it was, because
clicks.
And it turns into a black and white thing. It really does. It's like, ain't no brother wrote this. ain't no way no brother wrote this about Eric Bieniemy, man. We ain't doing that. For one, it's dry snitching, right?
Exactly.
For two, it's like, we ain't doing that.
Yeah, we ain't doing that. But you got to admit, Patrick does walk like he needs to speak to a manager.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I never seen him walk. I literally have never seen him walk. So I don't know.
In other Chiefs news, during this free agency period, the Chiefs released veteran a linebacker Anthony Hitchens reportedly frees up about $8.4 million in cap space. Q, we'll start with you.
It needed to happen. The Chiefs, not only in the secondary, but also the linebacking core needs to be revamped. You have what's the young kid's name?
Nick Bolton.
Nick Bolton's pretty good. He showed up, this past year, one of the top rookies on defense. And then you have Willie Gay, that's promising. I think he just has to stay healthy. And you need a field general. That wasn't Hitchens. The Super Bowl run year, he was the guy that couldn't tackle. And we saw it week in and week out. And I think he showed up maybe like the last 4 weeks of that season. But still they could get better at that position. And then also Sorensen being a free agent and his contract running out, they could definitely use that money to really put towards. I think that they need, not necessarily a shutdown corner, but maybe a corner that's tall enough, maybe someone that's physical enough, maybe someone that's really going to attack these smaller, faster, wide receivers and give them a hard time getting off the line. You have Tyron, you have Thornhill, you have a couple of guys that can really gel and mesh well together. And I think this is just the start of this team building that defense so that you don't need 4 Pro Bowl wide receivers to beat these teams in the AFC.
Yeah, it's the big thing of it is freeing up some money, money that the Chiefs really need for some key pieces that they need. Because this is a crucial offseason, not only for the Chiefs but for a lot of teams in the AFC, because it can be anyone's year. I mean, we've seen the Steelers make it as far as they did with Big Ben, with a hurt quarterback. You know what I'm saying? A quarterback that is on his last hurrah.
Inept.
Yeah, a quarterback that's on his last hurrah. I mean, we've seen Baltimore. Baltimore's right there. We've seen Indianapolis. I mean, there's so many good teams in this AFC. So where now in this offseason, it's like, man, y'all make the wrong move, and this season is gonna be a wrap.
Well, I mean, and you make one wrong move, especially one wrong signing this season, and it could literally set you back 3 years in the NFL, because you look at like you said, the Titans probably are not going anywhere.
Yeah.
The Colts probably aren't going anywhere. Yeah. Then you have the Bills. Then you have the Chargers. Yep. You have a lot of teams. I didn't
mention those teams.
You have a lot of teams that are very offensively capable to not necessarily do what the 2019 Chiefs did, but it'll be tough to keep up with those teams.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be the team that has a linebacking core that can't stop anybody, and you need Patrick Mahomes to be Superman every game.
And I think they were kind of on with Nick Bolton. You didn't know what you're going. I mean, a rookie playing like he did. He led the team in tackles behind Tyrann Mathieu. Led the team in tackles. So you kind of like, all right, we got something here with this kid, and he can only get better. So we might as well use him for cheap. And he also had the green dot, which means he called the plays for the defense. And so I think that kind of edged Anthony Hitchens on out the door. It's like, all right, man, you're 30 plus. We got this young bull here. We can let him work. And we've seen what he can do. And even where he's messed up at, he's gotten a lot better throughout the season. Even though he may not be a good cover linebacker, but he can get better at that. I mean, once he's able to read the actual offense and see, what's happening, and stuff starts slowing down for him, because it hasn't slowed down for him yet. That's why they were able to move from him. But I think next they're going to look at Frank Clark's deal. He's one of the highest paid defensive ends in the league. So will he take less? And I don't know. I just, knowing Frank Clark, I don't think he will.
No,
I think he wants to get more money.
And he doesn't. I'm sure he doesn't want to take less, especially after getting the biggest contract of his career.
Yeah.
But for him, I think he would want to stay on a winning team.
Yeah, of course.
If he gets out of here, he's probably going to end up somewhere like Jacksonville.
And
Florida ain't bad, though. I smell a restructure when it comes to him. I smell a restructure.
And it needs to happen. But I would definitely like to restructure him before Patrick. But you're looking at a couple of players, especially that are high up, that are going to need to restructure and move some money backwards. But
yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. But I think next is going to be Frank Clark. That's going to be within this next couple of weeks, and I don't have to make any decisions right now. But I feel like it's going to be.
I think you want to know before the draft.
I
think you want to know going. You want to know going into the draft.
He could be a bargaining piece,
and that's what I'm saying. You maybe try to use him to get some picks.
You pick 30. And who do you go with? You go best. I say best available,
and it depends, because you can still get someone in the second or third round that can really shape up. But I think for the Chiefs, they need to find that guy that can play opposite of Thornhill.
Yeah.
Now, Team LeBron beats Team Durant 163 to 160 in 2022 NBA All-Star Game. Noah, we'll start with you.
Y'all are dumb.
All-Star
corny,
week.
lame, boo, tomato.
We gonna work on the timing of those. I would say the All-Star weekend was. I mean, obviously the dunk contest was.
All tomatoes.
Was that tomato cans, not even actual tomatoes. We throw in the cans. Y'all were terrible. Missed dunks everywhere. Not too much creativity. We've seen it before. I think they need to do something with that. Now the 3-point contest. Now that's become the most exciting part about the All-Star game is that 3-point contest. You never really know. Even we got centers winning 3-point contests.
Exactly.
So this is where we're at. So I think that was dope. That was a dope part of the weekend. I mean, all the various other events, they were nah. But I think what we're starting to see a trend is the game. The actual game is once that fourth quarter turns around, they start putting in everybody that's trying to win and their strategy, and everybody's going hard. So I think overall you can give the weekend a B. Not really.
I think the foundations. I agree on everything you said about the actual weekend, but the game. I think the different nonprofit foundations should be more than just the team captains foundations. I think every quarter should be going to as long as they're vetted, they're great, they're good foundations. I think the nonprofits should be different, other than just giving it to LeBron's. What was it? The LeBron graduation foundation or whatever it is. Yeah. So I think there should be some other foundations put in there. But other than that, they have something to play for. Because I think it was first and third playing for was in first quarter and then 300,000 in third quarter. So I think there should be some other foundations that way, and they recorded that they're going hard.
Like maybe be the highest score in each quarter. They get their foundation is the one that gets donated to. Like so I mean they're adding things. And, it's a constant work in progress.
How many of these All-Stars do you think have foundations?
Every
all
single
of them.
last one
They do?
of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I think all of them
every
do.
single last one of them got maybe 2.
Because the league isn't really young anymore. It's a lot more veteran, ran right now. And I mean, you get the young stars, and then the young guys, they're all playing in a rookie sophomore game. So most of these guys that are in the actual game are veterans, other than like who was it, LaMelo. But I think his dad runs some stuff for him.
Oh yeah,
so
he's got it all. LaMelo got it all. You already know.
Donate to Big Baller Brand, baby.
Did you ever get your Big Baller Brand shoes?
No, man.
I got a homie who ain't get his either, man. What's up?
How do we make the dunk contest better?
Ooh, man.
It's making the incentives,
professional dunkers.
Yeah, making the incentives higher for these players. And then if you don't want to get your star players, your Ja Morants, your different guys that could jump out of the gym, then yes, you bring in these YouTube stars, these professional dunkers.
Exactly. People off the street.
These guys that really hone in on that craft. But also you're in a rock and a hard place with the NBA because you have these guys that are not under contract with your league. You have, so it becomes a sticky situation. I think behind the scenes, but I think that's the step that the NBA needs to take. One, you're looking at a lot of players that have no incentive to be in it other than making the fans happy.
Right.
And they do that for 82 games a year.
Exactly.
Sometimes as much as 110.
Yeah.
So professional dunkers. That's what I'm saying. Professional dunkers. These guys don't want to do it anyway. You used to have guys like MJ and Dominique Wilkins, like the actual superstars of the game. Now, I mean, LeBron won't do it.
There's only
Kobe did it.
There's only so much that you can do now. I mean, unless you're gonna pull out a trampoline, do a front flip into a cartwheel, touch the top of the backboard, and then dunk the basketball. It's not gonna. I mean, it's only so much.
And there's dunkers that are far more creative. I mean, we've seen TNT bring them on, for their pregame shows and halftime shows and different things. But I definitely think the NBA should do that. They should start looking outside of the players that they have, really to help make the All-Star week. I mean, you have celebrity games. Like, why not?
I think that's fun.
Yeah, why not? Why not bring these guys in that spend year round competing?
And it's some women that can dunk.
Hey.
And that's Candace Parker in there.
Hey.
Candace Parker in there.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it really needs to open up, because it's. I fear if it's not a $3, $4, $5 million pot for the winner, I don't see any stars really coming out just for the sake of the dunk contest.
$10 million. If there's a $10 million pot, like, all right, you think
I'm getting back.
Get a big sponsor. Get a big sponsor behind it. You got to get a bigger sponsor behind it. That way, guys will want to risk it all for it.
NBA makes enough money. They should
10 million.
10 million to go win a dunk contest.
I'd be jumping out the gym.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna start training today.
Yeah, I'm back in the gym. 10 million is 10 million.
Yeah, I mean, they don't pay taxes, so they should put that towards the players.
Now, I'm definitely throwing tomatoes at this one. Students tossed from Kansas high school basketball game for chanting airball. Steve, we'll start with you.
SOFT, soft. And here's the thing. Like, I understand rules are rules. I understand that, this is a culture that it's a what happens when you get participation culture. Everybody gets a participation trophy or a participation award.
We don't want to make people feel bad.
Yeah, man. To heck with all that. Like, these kids are out there playing. Like, if my son goes out there and airballs and the fans are yelling airball, and he comes home, he's like, man, they was calling yelling. I'm like, hey, well, don't airball next time. It just is what it is. It makes a player. Like, it'll teach them, don't go out there and airball. You don't airball. You shooting a free throw because the kid was airballing. He airballed the free throw. So it's like, all right, you better go practice some free throws. Get in the gym.
I'm just saying.
That's just me. Now, I know some parents are going to send me some messages like, oh, Steve, you're too harsh, whatever. No. These kids have to learn. How else would they learn?
This is the thing. It's a microcosm of life. So if you go through life and if you do, stuff that isn't up to par your whole entire life and nobody tells you about it, you're just going to continue to do that throughout your whole life. And then you won't get better. Like, this isn't motivating that kid to get better if he airballs and nobody says nothing. Like, can you imagine just a full gym and he airballs the free throw and nobody says nothing? They clap.
Crickets.
No, and then it's just like, what? Like, you airball the free throw, bro. The easiest game, the easiest shot in the game. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you're taking away from that. So I don't like this rule at all. I mean, I think all competitors don't like this rule. So it's an easy tomato throw for me.
And I know that they're arguing like it's a high school game, but if you are in college, you think Allen Fieldhouse isn't going to say something if you airball?
Oh my
goodness. This is only a drop in the bucket compared to what you could have heard.
Really?
It could get worse from here. So you might as well fix it now.
You could play in Utah. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm with Steve. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, we understand not every kid is going to the league and not every kid is going to Division I, but it makes them a better person. Like, if he's working at McDonald's and the guy comes and says, "Hey, no salt on these fries," oh, your fries are whack. Like, is he going? What are you gonna do? Tell his boss?
He told me. He said that my fries are whack.
Yeah, like, no, it helps. The culture of the sport. I really believe that, and it helps kids get better, be better people too. So that way when they get older, they don't have to just walk on eggshells. Like, oh, don't say anything to me, please don't.
We don't like.
Man, come on, man.
When y'all were younger and we got the participation trophies, can we honestly say that you were like satisfied? You got second place, and you're sitting there like, man, I don't want this second place medal.
My teams didn't get second place. I'm sorry.
I mean, participate, and especially with Steve and I growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, that there was hardly participation trophies.
I got it.
We went home, man.
Hated them.
Like, Dad, put that in the basement. I'm not trying to. Why? I don't want to see that.
My mom hated it. I used to throw mine in the trash, and she would be like, "Why did you throw them?" I don't want it.
Yeah, because I feel like it may have been T-ball, but after T-ball, once we got to fast pitch, it was competition season.
Like, even the post, like, even the postseason, like banquets and stuff like that, some kids left with no trophy.
And
Like if you wasn't balling, you wasn't getting a trophy. I'm sorry, there was no participation.
Yeah, because there was some players that literally sat on the bench
Yep.
the whole time,
and they got what they deserve. Honestly,
Yeah.
if you play a sport and you don't contribute anything to the team that can't be categorized, other than good job, you practice well, all of that sort of thing, then you don't leave with any hardware, man. That's just life, though.
I'm telling you, my son right now, if he gets a trophy when they lose or a medal, but what was the score? Dude, we lost, right? I don't want he'll tell you he doesn't want it because he understands wins and losses. You play to win the game, right?
Fact.
Exactly.
You should play the
Yeah.
Now, Steelers hire former Dolphins head coach Brian Flores as senior defensive assistant linebackers coach.
I love it. I love that. Just because, I mean, we look at the climate of the NFL, and even though he went out there and said, all right, they fired me because of being a racist decision, right? Of me being black and not being able to get the right to the same coaching opportunities as white coaches. And now the Steelers, which is one of those organizations that are an old time organization, like that's a historic organization, right? You wouldn't have imagined the Steelers were like, all right, you're suing the NFL, come and work for us. And that's what happened. So shout out to Mike Tomlin. I think he's the one that actually is kind of engineering this thing.
I agree.
Yeah. Go ahead, Q. Sorry.
No, we love it for him.
For sure. We're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll discuss U.S. soccer and women's players agree to settle equal pay lawsuit. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC WeSpin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC WeSpin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC WeSpin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC WeSpin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
Don't be depressed, frustrated, or stressed because of the loss of a loved one. Golden Gate Funeral and Cremation Services is here to assist you with a smooth, stress-free transition. It doesn't matter how your loved one transitioned, we will offer you a memorable celebration to your liking. We are a family-friendly, full-service funeral home right here in the heart of the city, offering affordable cremations and package pricing and quality service. Call us when you need us. 816-231-GATE. That's 816-231-4283. There's only one Golden Gate, located at 2800 East 18th Street, Kansas City, Missouri. Exchanging your grief for a golden experience.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it, message us, and we will talk about whatever topic you want. Now, U.S. soccer and women's players agreed to settle equal pay lawsuit. Under the terms of the agreement, the athletes will receive $24 million and a pledge from the Soccer Federation to equalize pay for the men's and women's national teams.
That's a big deal because they've been fighting for a number of years to get this thing done, and let's just hope it doesn't stop there. Like I think, and we talk about women's professional sports, college sports as well, and just how unequal it is, right, compared to men's sports, and how there should be a funnel of some of the money that comes to these men's professional sports and just funnels down into the women. So I think this is huge. I wonder does it say how many of the women are getting the 24 million, or is it all of them?
I believe it's all of them.
It's all of them.
Cool. That's cool. That's cool.
It's 22 million goes directly to the players. 2 million goes to a pot for future players, and it's basically back pay for them. Just,
I mean, let's be frank here. The women's national soccer team has been much better than the men's.
It's not even close
for a number of years. Yeah,
it's not even close.
Yeah. So it just shows how like unjustifiably sexist and misogynist the top of these sporting leagues are. And it's a kudos for at least the national team making that step and really making that statement. So yes, now it is time to bring more sponsorship, more viewership, more TV time to these women's sports programs, whether it's NCAA, whether it's professional sports, whether it's high school basketball. And you look at a lot of these programs, they just don't get the opportunity to be seen. And hopefully this is a starting point, for them to be seen, because there are women that watch sports.
I agree.
There are men and young boys that watch women's sports. It's not a sport that people completely shun. And I'm glad this is a first step.
Absolutely. And I think it was important for it to be a domino effect. I know we have like the KC Current coming in to Kansas City. So I hope it just puts more eyes on women's soccer all over in general. And I think, not that it wasn't already, of course, I remember a couple years ago, the U.S. national team came to Kansas City and they played at Livestrong Stadium and everything. And I went with my club team. And so it's definitely, they have the engagement, they have the eyes, but it's just time for the stations and everything to bring that attention to them.
And I had relatives in town for that game. So it was a lot of tourism dollars that came in. So again, like to have these players that have fans that not only spend money, but they will sit there and watch their favorite players. Like it's pastime.
I think what it amounts to being is just, we talk a lot about baseball, how it's a dying sport, right? Football, dying sport. And the reason why is because the marketing put behind it, especially baseball. You don't really see those players getting out. You don't see the league putting money towards the players. And I feel like that's what in these women's sports needs to happen. You need to have, some marketing dollars put forth towards these players to put them out there and put them out in the world, pretty much. Have marketing, TV commercials, things like that. I mean, we see Paige Buchers, who just came back after surgery, and she was all over ESPN yesterday. More like that needs to happen.
It's for the young women who are trying to get into sports, whether it's playing, whether it's covering, whatever the case may be. It's for them, for those to know that, all right, there's a future in this. Like, I'm able to make money for this, or I'm able to do this for a living. Because you can see we can even go back to these kids for men, at least for high school players. Like we got these kids, they'll be in high school and they'll be getting deals to represent a product. And it's like, man, this kid is 16 years old. He's 17 years old. How is he able to do that? Well, the same thing needs to happen in women's sports. Start getting these stars early, just like you're doing for men's, and you'll see the profits. You'll see the change. So
for sure. Now, Michigan's men's basketball team, Juwan Howard suspended for rest of Wolverines regular season after post-game altercation at Wisconsin. Let's hear what both coaches had to say about what happened that led to the discipline by NCAA first.
And Juwan Howard not going over immediately to shake hands. Now he's going to get in the line. Interesting finish here, 77. Oh, see, and they're going at it. Howard and Guard are not happy right now as the two of them continue to have words. We told you Juwan Howard was not happy about that timeout. And Juwan Howard just threw a right hand. And now we got a scrum. We have a scrum in Madison. Players are pushing and shoving. This is an ugly scene. This is an ugly scene.
Oh, my God.
Trying to get separated, and there's no doubt it all stems from the timeout by Greg Gard. Now, that's not an excuse for this, but that is what angered Juwan Howard, and it spilled over into this. And you saw Howard and Greg Gard nose to nose.
I knew he was. I wouldn't be happy either, but there's no excuse for this. Absolutely not.
Zero excuse. This cannot happen.
Cannot.
You know, it's unfortunate that overshadows a fabulous day for Wisconsin basketball. To be able to honor Michael Finley and his teammates. I know he brought a lot of them along, or a ton of them in the locker room. He couldn't walk in it after the game. Coach Jackson was in there, Coach McCallum. You know, and then also how our team played, specifically in the second half. I thought they played really well. Did some really good things on both ends of the floor. And like I said, it was a good team victory. Unfortunately, hopefully it won't be overshadowed by the incident there at the end.
Yeah, it's that look, you can look at it from two different ways, and I'm gonna go the way of Juwan Howard was wrong. Right, I'm gonna go that way because here's the thing. I get the fact of what Juwan Howard said post game. Is like, he touched me, the coach put his hands on me, he stopped me from moving. But here's the thing about that. When you in a position of leadership, when you're in a position of leading young men, right? You can't, because here, think about it this way, Q. Let's just say one of those kids on his team were like, all right, I'm gonna go and have a fight during the game. What's gonna be Juwan Howard next? What's he gonna tell the kid? You can't do that, right?
It's the second time something like this
similar
has happened.
Yes. Yeah, so when he's in a position of leadership, you can't, no matter what the situation is, I don't care how mad you are as a you know, a coach and a leader of men, you can't put yourself in that kind of situation.
And the same goes for Greg Gard.
Yeah, of course, of course.
The same goes for him. Like, if you are a leader of men, if you are happy, you know, for the day that Wisconsin had, you don't touch Juwan Howard. You don't start the aggression. You don't gaslight him for this very, and we saw it on the video, the very small. What do you do when somebody grabs you like this?
Man, come on.
Exactly. Nah. And you had some strength behind that, and I was barely even. So that, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're Wisconsin's head coach, you don't touch anybody, and you prepare for the reaction if you do that.
Yeah.
And he wasn't prepared for that reaction.
And I think it's just as important to pay attention to the instigation as it is to the reaction. Because when we were younger, and, you know, I get into it with my brother, and the first thing that my dad said, well, did you hit him first? Not saying that his reaction was correct, but I think that it's not fair to come at him harder than the person that initiated it.
Exactly.
The discipline is what is the problem here for me as well. Is like, all right, Juwan Howard got these games and he was wrong. He was, like, we can be honest, he was wronger for open hand slapping another grown man.
That's like, the part. That's the part I'm talking about.
He's wronger for that. Like, no matter what it is, like, I don't care how aggressive he was towards you, you upped the aggression. So, but at the same time, like, the disparity in the punishment is what gets me, because Juwan Howard gets suspended the rest of the season and the Big Ten tournament. And the only time he's going to have an opportunity to coach his team is if they make the national tournament. Greg Gard gets the $10,000 fine, and then he doesn't get suspended. So it's kind of like, I feel like Greg Gard maybe earned 1 or 2 games, maybe even 3, for the fact that he did touch him and he held him. Even if you're Juwan Howard, you're a former NBA player, you could literally just scoop by him and say, excuse me, sir, I don't want to talk to you. But that's neither here nor there, because again, it was a highly emotional day. That timeout that they called at the end of the day, at the end of the game, probably wasn't in the best, wasn't the best call of a timeout. I feel the use of the timeout. I mean, you're already up. The game is pretty much over. Just ended out as 4 seconds. But I mean, woulda, coulda, shoulda in every situation. But I feel like Greg Gard earned at least 2 games.
And then he's a coach in Wisconsin. I mean,
what's wrong with Wisconsin? Cute.
What do you mean?
Good program.
Hold on. What do you mean? What's wrong with Wisconsin? Like
that's a good program.
There's less than 10% of black people there. So
I mean, they have black players. They got black players.
But also we don't know the microaggressions that came from that coaching side prior to the game.
Yeah, during the game. They had issues before.
Exactly. And it's not Juwan Howard that starts it. Because
we don't know. Like you said, we don't know. We don't know. We can't say that we don't.
We don't know, but when you look at the timeout that was called, the disrespectful action. So again, you start with 2 disrespectful actions and then you expect no reaction. So again, that's what I'm saying. Like it's far too unbalanced. And yes, there gets to a point where people that don't care about black people, they're just going to poke you in the chest until you react. And that's that. I think that's the approach.
Last point. Mm-hmm. I will say this. He wasn't going to grab Mike Krzyzewski like
he
that.
was that. And that's
he not going to grab.
And that's my point.
John Calipari like that.
That is my point.
I feel like it was more of a OG, like you the young up and coming kind of thing where it's like, hey, like respect like what this is. Like you don't have respect for this because you ain't part of this. You're new, and it's like, hey man, don't touch me. So
and hasn't Juwan Howard been an NBA coach?
No, I mean a player, but not coach.
I didn't know if he was a assistant.
I mean, I'm not sure if he's been an assistant or not. But yeah, it was one of those things where it's like you gotta if you're guard, man, just do better about that. And I'm sure he's learned from this. I'm sure he has, because you can't just be grabbing people and say, hey, like respect this invisible like thing that is college basketball. Mm-hmm. And it's like, don't do that.
And my thing too is time and place.
True.
Right? Like you got to understand where you are. Most of the time,
both coaches.
Most of the time you get coaches post game, they're already standing at half court before their team even comes and daps up, right? Mm-hmm. So I think if he was going to take it there, and you were already upset, Juwan Howard. I don't know Juwan Howard personally, but it seems to me like he was
a competitor.
Yeah, he was mad. Right. His first of all, his team's lost, and then second of all, the timeout, and then third of all, you grabbed him. So all that kind of built up into that where that slap came from.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like,
but not only that though, I think, like I said, time and place, he could have pulled him like, hey, at post game, locker rooms in college, just locker rooms aren't that far. They're pretty much right across the hall.
Both
right.
wrong.
So yeah. So
Both
I think,
wrong.
hey, I'm gonna see you when you come into the thing.
Greg could have shaken hands, and he could have just sent an email later.
This could have been an email. This could have been an email. I don't think it could have. I think it would have been very angry.
He could have sent an email instead of calling timeouts and grabbing people by the arms.
Any of those.
You ain't gonna little boy me.
True.
No, on that note, we're gonna take a quick break. Coming up, we'll have our Hate It or Love It segment. Kick it off with our sneakers of the week. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC WeSpin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC WeSpin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC WeSpin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC WeSpin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
Don't be depressed, frustrated, or stressed because of the loss of a loved one. Golden Gate Funeral and Cremation Services is here to assist you with a smooth, stress-free transition. It doesn't matter how your loved one transitioned, we will offer you a memorable celebration to your liking. We are a family-friendly, full-service funeral home right here in the heart of the city, offering affordable cremations and package pricing and quality service. Call us when you need us. 816-231-GATE. That's 816-231-4283. There's only one Golden Gate, located at 2800 East 18th Street, Kansas City, Missouri. Exchanging your grief for a golden experience.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag Talk About It, message us, and we will talk about whatever topic you want.
Hate it.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
Starting off our sneakers of the week, we have the Air Jordan 9 Chili Reds.
I like these. I really do.
These already came out, didn't they? A while ago.
I don't know. I haven't seen them, and I like these. I
They
really
was
do.
part of the Johnny Kilroy joints. That's what it was. Oh yeah,
These are nice. I like these.
Steve, you
Yeah,
can't go to LA with these on.
If anybody got the plug on these, I want these.
Steve, you can't go to LA with these on, man.
I ain't so tripping. I ain't so tripping. I'm wearing those only in Kansas City.
The Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG Brotherhoods.
You can't go to LA with these though.
Yeah, you can. Oh, for sure. And
Kobe's house.
I'm sure we'll see.
There you go.
I'm sure we'll see. If we ever go back, we'll see plenty of them.
Don't walk into an Omega's house with these on.
Oh Lord, Jesus. It's always somebody said tripping. Ain't it?
Look at Broderick like what?
My favorites this week: the UZ 350 Boost V2 Dazzling Blues.
These are definitely Noel's favorites.
These are right for the cheap. Oh yeah, I got the.
Yeah, these are Noel's favorites.
They
like
right for the choosing, Steve. These the ones you gonna grab?
Nah, man. I want the black and red ones first. Like those ones you got on? Yeah,
those.
buddy.
Okay.
But
I got you.
They're cool. I mean, I like them.
I like them too.
The Nike Air Force One Low Dark Beetroot.
I like these too.
I don't like that.
I'm not a
color.
fan. I'm not a fan.
I don't like it. The bottom is what's killing me. The white bottom.
The big sole.
Dingy.
Yeah.
It gives me dingy vibes
That's what
real
I'm saying.
quick.
That's like,
Yeah.
Dirty Air Force One.
Yep.
Yeah,
And y'all know how I feel.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate
It does look like you would see these at a BP gas station in Independence.
Oh man, you will.
Period.
You will. You know you will.
Now, Tom Brady to act produce road trip comedy based on Patriots fans. Hate it or love it.
Y'all are dumb. Oh my God. Corny.
Oh wow.
Tomato,
I mean, it fits. It fits.
Steve needs to work on his trauma.
I
That's
think
a
you
trauma
need
response,
therapy.
Steve.
Therapy is what you need,
man. Oh, y'all like this one better?
No, it's actually this.
I love it.
Battle of the memes today.
Man, but yeah, it's cool though. I think because just reading about the story though, it's supposed to be like a comedy talking about Patriots fans and the Patriot fandom in Boston. So it's just Star Broderick. Honestly, he's one of the biggest Patriot fans.
I'm sure it's hilarious. Actually, I hope it's really really spot on. I hope they get every corner of that franchise and all its fans.
They may have to wait until Broderick's done with Bel Air, though.
I feel like comedy's only fitting too because I don't think I could take him seriously at all. I feel like his acting has got to be so corny.
Yeah.
So corny.
I'm right there with you.
Who do you think's a better actor, him or Peyton Manning?
Give me Peyton.
Peyton
10
funny.
out of 10.
Peyton's funny though. I like Peyton.
Okay,
Yeah,
what
no.
about him or Eli Manning?
Tom.
You know what's funny about Eli? He's unintentionally funny. Like he's one of those guys you don't even realize how funny he is, and that's what makes it 10 times funnier.
He just looks uncomfortable at all times.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's hilarious.
He's a schlub.
Now, Michael Jordan drops the F-bomb on encounter with Karl Anthony Towns. Hate it or love it.
I love it. It's classic MJ. Like still competitive.
He was the drunk uncle, all-star, all that whole time he was out there hugging people, dapping them up, acting drunk. I love it. This is the MJ that I like.
Let's hear what Karl Anthony Towns had to say.
What up, dude? Stay healthy, off the floor. Yeah. Guys.
You see how he was hugging Luka Doncic first, and he automatically turned and got a serious face like, you know what?
You messed up my parlay. That's what he did. He messed up his parlay. You know it was.
Now, DK Metcalf says he could beat Tyreek Hill in a race.
Come
Claims
on,
he's the
DK.
fastest wide receiver in the NFL.
Come on, DK.
Let's see what DK had to say.
Oh, Cap. Oh, Cap. Yeah, he basically was just like, hey, Tyreek's not the fastest. I'm the fastest. He can catch these this was last year. He said, I'm in the booth. Now, this year's come around. Still he's not ready to run.
I want to see it. Let me see it. It depends on how far
big,
the race
man.
is. It depends on how far the race is. Now, the race is 40-yard dash. Tyreek is eating him up.
Anybody, 40 to 50 yards.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But when the longer, 100 yards,
Tyreek took to Twitter.
That's his thing. That's his thing.
Yeah, he said, I'm about to race everybody that called me out. Let's go. But come on, Tyreek. You can't just be going out there because you're going to catch that L from somebody.
He's going to catch it.
Yeah, and it's going to be bad because it's going to be somebody that you don't think is fast. I'm like, Tyreek lost to him? All right.
I mean, he already lost to my boy Michael Parsons in the Pro Bowl race. I'm just,
don't do it.
Saying.
Don't do it.
I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he lost. He lost.
Tomato.
So why was he not running? Like when he had nothing, he had nothing to do. He could have prepared for that race. He could have won it.
Man.
Easy.
Nah, I'm not agreeing. You saw Tyreek not even try.
All right, man. I'm just saying.
Nets Kyrie Irving too soon play home games. NYC mayor says he can't wait to phase out vaccine mandate. Hate it or love it.
That's wild.
This
phase out a mandate for one player.
That's crazy.
It's like terribleness. I'm sorry. Come on, man. He wants everybody to get vaccinated. Do you or do you not want everybody to get vaccinated?
Like, y'all are dumb. Oh my God.
We have reached the record, folks. That is 7 cornies in one show. I haven't quite heard this one before.
But no, I think at the end of the day, he wants the New York residents to get vaccinated, but then he doesn't want Kyrie. Or he's saying it's okay for Kyrie not to be. Right when they're after All-Star break, they're getting ready to try to make a playoff push. Come on. We know what he's doing.
If I'm an NBA player and a cop is coming to stand on my side, maybe I'm on the wrong side.
Man.
Oof. Now, videos shows John Jones headbutting police car, telling officers, hurt me and kill me. Hate it or love it.
This is terrible. Sad. Yeah, it's nothing. It's just bad all the way around.
It's to me, we're just talking about the Kyrie. This screams either CTE or bad drug use.
And it's I would say it's drug use because he's been suspended so many times by the UFC and other governing bodies just from drugs, just purely from drugs. And this is just a cry for help, I feel like. And because of the sport that he's in, he's probably not even comfortable asking for that help.
Yeah.
And that's just terrible. So
it's just destructive behavior.
Definitely. Now, 4 black team owners are competing in the Daytona 500. Hate it or love it.
Love it. Love this.
Definitely.
I love it.
LeBron James, Clutch Sports clearly unhappy with Rob Pelinka. Hate it or love it.
It's cap. It's cap. Don't believe the hype. He literally just said that no, we're committed to winning championships here, and we're not upset with Rob Pelinka. I'm tired of.
There's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah. Okay.
Steve is hoping for that.
This is your franchise, man.
Exactly. I want the Lakers to succeed. But hey,
yes, I do. LeBron, you don't.
They praying on my downfall. That's what you doing right now.
We could have reported on LeBron opening a museum in Akron, but what do we report on?
Wow.
Drop the mic.
Oh man,
we got one more.
LeBron James wants to play wherever Bronny is for his last year. Hate it or love it,
love
Steve.
It. You better hit it. Hit the button.
Yeah.
Hit the button.
Like, y'all are dumb.
We might as well bring her on the show, man.
Tomato.
So yeah, we shout out. What's her TikTok name? I don't even know her TikTok name, but we might as well just have her in the background and just every time Steve.
I gotta give her the cue. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
Nah, but honestly though, I think this is pretty cool for him because it's never happened in the NBA to have a father son on the same squad. I think that'll be so dope. honestly.
Following the shoes of Ken Griffey.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
That was a really dope one. Didn't they? So they were on the Mariners together.
Back-to-back home runs.
Yes, I was gonna say, that was dope.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even
imagine LeBron throwing his son a oop or vice versa in an NBA game.
It would be
That's
vice
iconic.
versa by the time he
You
gets
think
up
so?
there.
Shit.
That's iconic.
Chills. I mean, LeBron, man, he might as well. He probably still gonna be dunking.
LeBron doesn't have mega knees anymore.
All right, we appreciate everyone who joined in on today's show. We appreciate the comments as well. As always, you can catch a rewind of our show on Mondays, 100.1 FM, The W Show. Like us on social media at The W Show KC on all social media platforms. Remember, where you can come down to the Negro League Baseball Museum and located in the historic 18th Divine District. You have until Monday to view the museum for free. Come down and tour the museum. Should be pretty fun. All right, until next week, we are out of here.
The views and opinions expressed on the W Radio Show by the host, co-hosts, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundation, or affiliates.